not only, in terms of quality of play, but just quality of detail and planning from a coach's perspective as well. We're all collectively responsible for what we put on tape, and we all gathered ourselves and righted the ship kind of at the half and did what we had to do, and improved. And I think it just speaks to the team. Forget the quality of your play, but the intangible things, the mental toughs, the togetherness, that's what gets you out of those circumstances. So that's what made it rewarding.
Yeah, and you need big plays, game-changing plays, and you got one from first-year player Alex Highsmith. And I guess the encouraging thing, if you listen to him afterwards, he said how he learned from earlier in the game and made an adjustment. How big was that pick? And secondly, how big was it to respond with 7 points right after that pick?
All of those things in that scenario were a big component of us getting back into the game. If we wanted to get back into the game, we had to move quickly in the third quarter, and that's what that play allowed us to do. And as you mentioned, he got hit on that play earlier in the game, and it didn't necessarily require an adjustment. He executed the technique properly at the beginning of the second half and reaped the rewards of it. And that's what halftime was about for us collectively. And that change, that subtle change, or that awareness that he made, that's illustrated in that play, could really be a synopsis of us collectively.
Yeah, defense had its fingerprints all over this win, too. There was the strip sack by Bud Dupree. I mean, that's in a red zone. Again, a critical time of the game, and turnovers really played a big role in this one. How big was that play?
That play was enormous. When you look at the two first-half turnovers, they really kept us in striking distance. We didn't have a lot of fluidity on either side of the ball in the first half, and those turnovers, one resulting in a pick six from Robert, and another one, getting at minimum of a three-point swing from Bud. I thought that was significant in terms of keeping us in striking distance.
You remember, you mentioned Robert Spillane, and he's become a cult figure now all of a sudden, not unlike Zach Banner, and how 72 tackle eligible became one of the things people talked about. But what can you say about that guy? 11 tackles, tackles for losses, and then the pick six. Has he exceeded your expectations?
I don't know that he's exceeded my expectations. To be honest with you, I expected him to play well. We got a great deal of confidence in him, and such is the case in team sports at this level. Oftentimes there's a guy, waiting in the wings and working and is very capable, and all he needs is an opportunity. And Robert is just the latest example of that. We're extremely proud of him and happy for him, but I don't think that any of us are surprised by the way he's playing.
Second half, you had some big moments by your offensive team. First, I want to talk about Ben Roethlisberger, because a lot has been made about whether or not his arm going down the field. He hasn't done it all that much, but there were 3 throws so far in the season that have really caught my eye. The one in Tennessee to Deontay Johnson, where he zipped it in between 2 defenders. Then there was one in this game again to Juju Smith-Schuster, again a dart on a big play, and then the one to Claypool. He seems to be right on target with those sorts of plays.
Yeah, we don't have any reservations about his physical health or his ability to stretch the field vertically and horizontally in the ways that he's done his entire career. More than anything, we like the challenges, and so keep talking. I'm sure that's motivation to him, and we need a little bit of that as we proceed.
Juju Smith-Schuster didn't have much in the first half, and I thought he made some real significant plays in the second half against the Ravens. They were kind of extra effort plays. How much did he contribute to this win in your estimation?
It was significant, not only the moments, possession downs and things of that nature, and those downs are weighted differently, but the space in which he works, man. Juju does a lot of work on the interior portions of the field where a lot of wideouts, don't like to roam. There's a toughness about him and in his play that we really respect and is really helpful to us in those moments.
Steelers win again. They're 7-0, the only undefeated team left in the NFL. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's up next. It's a trip to Dallas, and the Steelers have a new player they acquired also before the trade deadline. We'll talk to Coach Tomlin about those things when we return. Right now, let's head back to Missy Matthews.
Thanks, Bob. The Steelers traded the Jets for inside linebacker Avery Williamson. And coming up later in the show, Merrill Hodge draws up his playbook on how he thinks the Steelers will use him. Coming up next, the best sights and sounds from the Steelers' big win in Baltimore. The Mike Tomlin Show will be right back. Now, with your interception, I know after the game you said you learned from something and getting burnt in the first half. When you went back and watched it on film when you guys got back to Pittsburgh, did you learn anything else about that play or about your performance?
Yeah, really it was just, learning just, the responsibilities of my drop on that play. Like I said, I learned from it in the first half where they ran the same exact play and against our same exact defense. And instead of dropping deep where he threw it over my head, I stayed down on the fullback who was coming out. And so we watched that. I looked at it on the sideline and talked with my coaches. And then, when the first half came out, they motioned to that same formation, and the fullback kind of came off the ball the same way. And because he wasn't coming off aggressively, I knew it was going to be a pass. And so I faked at him and then dropped back right in time, was able to jump up and get it. And so, that's what really that was kind of just the adjustment for me that helped me to make that interception. Just, overall, there's definitely, things I can improve on every game. And so just watching that film, I'm very, highly critical of myself. So, I feel like I have, and us as defense, we definitely have, a lot to improve on. And so we're excited to show it this week versus Dallas.
Welcome back, everyone. That was rookie linebacker Alex Smith talking about his first career interception last Sunday in Baltimore, and it came at a very critical time as the Steelers were trailing the Ravens by 10 points at halftime. Here's the best sights and sounds from that comeback win.
One could make the argument that to define who rivals are, they should look no further than the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Since its inception, the two teams have combined to win 14 AFC North Division titles. The Ravens with 6, the Steelers with 8.
It's AFC North football. Undefeated, they got 1 loss. This is what it's about right here.
The constant back and forth has flourished into what could be the NFL's finest rivalry, a blend of ferocity and excitement, capturing the attention of the entire league.
Come on, go, 90, let's go.
Both teams know what's at stake, and they know how hard it is to walk out of these matchups with a win.
Empty set, 3rd and 6. It's an intercepted, running down the field. Robert Spillane for a pick 6.
Wow.
That quickly into this football game.
Let's go! He sees his eyes looking right at him, stares down the receiver. He jumps in front. That was a nice, easy pick 6.
Steelers jumped out ahead of the Ravens behind Robert Spillane's first NFL career touchdown. But the Ravens wouldn't waste any time evening up the score.
Pass down the field, a diving grab is made. Miles Boykin, Baltimore gets a big first down. Running down the field is Willie Snead IV, inside the 20, inside the 15, and he gets inside the 10, and the pass in the back of the end zone is caught for the touchdown by Miles Boykin. And we have a brand new ball game. Give the Baltimore Ravens credit. They've tied the game up with a 75-yard drive.
With a score tied at 7, the two defensive units showed why they are some of the best in the game.
Over the middle, the pass is complete. Claypool had it, lost it. Big fight for it.
Marcus Peters got it.
Peters is going to get the ball away from Chase Claypool. That's a bad turn of events for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's going to step up, and the ball is out. And it's going to be Pittsburgh ball inside the 5.
That's just a great job of Bud Dupree staying on the rush, staying on the hunt, coming after Jackson, back door, loosening the ball.
And stripping the ball. Vince Williams is Johnny on the spot.
He's hit in the pocket, and down goes Jackson at midfield. Stephon Tuitt greeted him unceremoniously.
Stephon Tuitt swam Patrick McCary and just was in Lamar Jackson's face.
And right now you can watch the full edition of that Sights and Sounds on the Steelers official YouTube page. But turning our attention now to tomorrow's game in Dallas, the Steelers and the Cowboys have a long history between the two teams. In the Super Bowl era, they are the two winningest teams in terms of records, and they are also the only two teams to meet in 3 Super Bowls. It does not have the same excitement this year due to the Steelers and the Cowboys' respective records, but it is a chance for the Steelers to move to 8-0. So let's go back to Bob and Coach for more on tomorrow's game. Guys?
All right, Missy, thanks very much. Well, the Steelers go to Dallas. New player on board this week. Coach, you made a deal for Avery Williamson for a 5th-round pick. You guys get a 7th-round pick back. You also have guys in the middle who've played very well. We mentioned Robert Spillane, and I know you like Ulysses Gilbert. Tell us about why you made this acquisition and what role Avery Williamson will have.
You know, everybody is aware of the loss of Devin Bush and the significance there, and really we've done our due diligence in terms of acquiring players and developing those players so that we don't miss a beat. Well, in recent weeks since then, Uli Gilbert has had issues with his back, and availability has been spotty in that regard. And so, you know, we just wanted to make sure that we remain insulated. Avery Williamson is a quality professional football player, a known commodity, a guy with a legitimate resume, and he fortifies our depth at that position. Where if we sustain another injury, we'll continue to be able to function in the manner in which we have, and that's very important, particularly at that position, and particularly with the many battles that lie ahead for us. Knowing that Devin Bush is not going to come back to us in 2020, we just felt it was necessary to get a quality player there, one that's a known commodity, and he checks all those boxes.
I know you're into social media, Instagram in particular. I don't know if you saw what Avery Williamson, I mean, he looked like the happiest man in the world going from the Jets coming to Pittsburgh, posting some stuff like he posed with Franco Harris at the airport. The guy's pretty much pumped to be here.
You know, Avery is a high-energy guy. Man, he's a football lover. The first time I met him personally was at Bud Dupree's Pro Day. He had just finished his rookie year. And, man, we had some downtime waiting between drill to drill. Man, that guy followed me around all day, picking my brain, just having good general conversation, and it really left an impression on me in terms of he's an eager beaver type, man. He's communicative. He's good with people. He's got a passion for football that he cannot hide. Those guys generally fit in pretty easily around here.
All right, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. It's a team that struggled, and they now find out what you found out last year when you lose significant pieces to an offense. No Dak Prescott. They have used Andy Dalton and also Ben DiNucci, who's from around here. Just curious about your thoughts about that offense. They've struggled this year. Your assessment of what you have to deal with this week.
You know, having recently been in those circumstances, there's some things that are going on there that are pretty familiar to me. I think there's probably a period of shock that you all go through initially after a loss of a player as significant as Dak. And then you start formulating the new formula in which you work to win, and you acknowledge certain things, and certain things have to transpire. And in watching their recent play, particularly last weekend against Philadelphia, where the defense created 4 turnovers, I know that they're preaching turnovers are a significant element of play in the development of the new winning formula. So we better respect that. We better do a really good job of taking care of the ball. We were in a similar circumstance a year ago. We sung that same song. As a matter of fact, we were talking about scoring on defense and in special teams. And I remember specifically when we were in LA, we challenged our group. When we were going to play the Chargers, we challenged our group to support Duck in that way. And we got a turnover for a score early in that game. So we understand where they are. We respect it. We see the adjustments they're making from a team standpoint. And obviously on offense, they got to do a really good job of leaning on their known commodities. And that starts first and foremost with Ezekiel Elliott. He'll have our focus in preparation and in play. We got to work our tails off, man, to make sure that he does not control the game, particularly after coming off the type of performance we came off last week versus the run.
You're a big history guy. Do you remember many of the Steeler-Cowboy rivalries back in the day? The Bradshaw, the Staubach, Jack Lambert throwing down Cliff Harris after he was messing with Roy Gerella. Does that stuff ring true to you?
Absolutely.
Pretty good stuff. Well, it's another installment of the Steelers and Cowboys that comes up this week, and we're happy to have it once again. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo on the call. When we come back, we'll get some final thoughts from Mike Tomlin. That's still to come. Right now, let's go back to Missy Matthews.
Up next on the Mike Tomlin Show, Merrill Hodge shows us his playbook on the Steelers' newest addition to its defense, inside linebacker Avery Williamson. Don't go anywhere.
You know what it is. It's the Mike Tomlin Show.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber. Are you 84 Lumber material? Visit 84lumber.com/careers to learn more.
Welcome back to the Mike Tomlin Show, presented by 84 Lumber. On Monday, the Steelers traded the Jets for inside linebacker Avery Williamson. Coach Tomlin said he met him in Kentucky at Bud Dupree's pro day and said they gravitated towards each other, and he considers him to be a football junkie. He also said he envisions him being a third inside linebacker for the Steelers to help support Robert Spillane and Vince Williams. Here's Merrill Hodge now with this week's playbook on more.
The only thing good about losing Devin Bush for the season was, first, how Spillane has played. Absolutely terrific. Love how he plays the position. Now you get Avery Williamson, ironically, who's a very similar type of player. Here's what I love about both of them: how they play the position, how they strike and separate when they're getting blocked, how they get the ball carrier, how they tackle. They can play run and pass. And here's what coaches are going to love about them: their discipline. They're going to be where they're supposed to be. A lot of you have seen Spillane. We'll show you a little bit of tape on him, but I also want to show you Williamson and how he plays and how well he will fit in with this Steeler defense.
All right, Avery Williamson, 54, right in the middle. Watch how he strikes and separates the guard. Strikes, separates, makes tackle. Great linebacking play. Does a great job in the box of doing this on a consistent basis. Let's take a look at Spillane in the running game. Now watch him strike and separate, using his hands, feet, hips, and hands, separate and get into the ball carrier. That's how you play the run. Separate, strike, and separate. Now let's take a look at Spillane on that pick six. Most people saw the highlight, but they didn't see it from this angle. Watch how he plays the position, reads the quarterback's eyes, and then reacts. Just a beautiful job. Great job of playing linebacker. All right, Avery Williamson right there on the hash. Great job here of playing the pass. Dolphins try to run a screen. He has a responsibility, gets to it, sees it, avoids being blocked, and makes the tackle. Great job in the passing game and the running game. You can trust this guy.
Here's the bottom line in the NFL: you need depth, and the more good players you have, the better off you're going to be. So having Williamson as part of this linebacking group is going to help their depth and help this defense overall.
All right,